Republican Congressman Michael Waltz does join me now. He serves on the Armed Services Committee, Foreign Affairs and Intelligence. Congressman, thank you very much for being here. I just want to play one more of the sound bites from Bill Malushin's interview. This was yesterday. This man is from Morocco. Watch this.
I love you, Joe Biden. Thank you for everything, Joe Biden.
Congressman Waltz, what are we going to do about this?
You know, Martha, there's so many aspects to this disaster. One is the national security piece. The FBI director couldn't ring the alarm bells any more loudly, saying never in his career has he seen so many red lights blinking. Nearly 300 people on the terrorist watch list spread out all over the country that they're trying to track down. And I'll remind everyone that the shooter at Pulse nightclub was on the terrorist watch list and got through and massacred an entire nightclub full of Americans. So I don't know what it's going to take. I fear it's going to take another attack like that for Biden to take it seriously and take our proposals and shut down the border. There's the humanitarian aspect of it. As a father of a daughter, 40% of young girls and women are sexually assaulted and sold into human trafficking. And then there's the cartels that control, according to most estimates, 30% of Mexico now are running heavy weapons, machine guns, shooting down aircraft, fighting the Mexican army to a standstill. And that's why we've introduced legislation to use military resources to go after them. I'm glad the Senate, though, Senate is saying no Ukraine, nothing else until we solve this problem.
I want to play that. This is President Biden, because there's an interesting editorial in the Journal today that says now is the moment for President Biden, who says that he, who ran really on the premise that he was going to find middle ground on many of these huge issues that the country faces. Here's what he had to say about where this stands. Hold on one second, Congressman. We're actually going to take former President Trump live. He just walked out. Let's watch this. We'll be right back.
Many times over, even long before today, this is totally conclusive. But we've proven this is just a witch hunt by a political system that should be ashamed of itself. They're going after a political opponent. This comes from Washington. This comes from Biden. This case is, it's a joke. It's a joke. The cash we didn't even need the loan. We had so much cash. We had far more cash than we had in the loan we're talking about. This has come out loud and clear. I hope for the press to understand. I hope they're treated fairly. It cannot be more conclusive. And they're not finished. They're going over other figures that are even better. They're not finished because over the years the numbers got even better. By the way, these loans were all paid off, just so you understand that. They were all paid off. These aren't loans that are due or were defaulted on at all. We never even got a notice of any difficulty. The bank, Deutsche Bank, was extremely happy. They testified they were extremely happy. They made their full money, and some of the loans were paid off early. This is just a witch hunt with all of the problems that New York has. That this horrible, absolutely horrible Attorney General would do this is disgraceful. It's a disgrace to our country. And again, I should be right now in Iowa and New Hampshire, South Carolina. I should be sitting in a courthouse, and I don't have to sit here. I could just do whatever I want to do, but I want to make sure that you get the true story. Because this is a crooked Attorney General who did this because she was running for governor and running for Attorney General. But she ran for governor, she failed badly. She got like 2% of the vote in the polls, and she went back to getting Trump. In fact, she said, I have big things to do. I'm going to go back. And she meant I'm going to go back and get Trump. That was her big thing. So I just want to say it's a shame that this can happen. And by the way, other cases are just like this, too. The D.C. case, just like this. The boxes hoax. You read the other day where they leaked out that Biden has no problem with the boxes. But let's see what happens with that. He had probably 10 or 15 or 20 times more boxes than we did. He had them over a 40 or 50-year period. And they leaked out he's got no problem. But me, they go after. It's a two-tiered system of injustice. And the Attorney General in this case should be ashamed of themselves. And again, it comes out of the DOJ in Washington, the White House, because they want to try and damage an opponent so that he can win, so that we can have another 4 years of squalor. We can have another 4 years of millions of people coming in from jails and mental institutions pouring into our country. This is what's happened to our country. We're a failing nation because of stuff like this. You heard things today that nobody knew because I was a private company. I am a private company. And the numbers are great. Now, the other thing, if you notice, 2011, that's long beyond the statute of limitations. That's 12, 13 years ago we're talking about. The statute of limitations is like 5, 6 at a max, but like 5 years. We're talking about, she sued us in 2011, but these loans were all paid off. There's nobody injured. They call it no victims. There's no victims. The banks love Trump. A lot of loans weren't paid off, but they weren't by me. The company is a great company. You heard what they said. Even the bank said this is a great company. One of the best. I think they said the best company that they deal with. And this is what I have to go through. Fraud from a fraudulent attorney general that valued a incredible club in Florida that's worth 50 to 100 times more than they put down. But they fraudulently valued it low. This woman should be under investigation for what she did. She's a disgrace. Now, I did hear the judge say that he's going to take it under advisement when we said you have to clear our name of that fraud, because when he ruled the way he did, he didn't know anything about the case. He didn't know. He ruled against me. He didn't know anything about the case. Now he sees these things from the leading expert, the leading person, a man who sits on the Pulitzer Committee, most respected person, the Stern School, NYU, top professor, a very honest man, too, by the way, very honorable. If he didn't agree, he wouldn't say what he's saying. And he said these were incredible loans. I didn't even need the money. So here's the story. I hope you write it fairly, because we have a very corrupt country. We have a very corrupt political system, and they're doing this to hurt a political opponent. This is third world country stuff. This is banana republic stuff. And it's a shame. It's a shame what's happening to our country. Thank you very much.
Okay, former President Donald Trump, the case that we were talking about with Andy McCarthy a while ago, that situation is over right now for today. But he was talking about the border, Congressman Waltz, and he has said that one of the things he would do, he said to Sean Hannity the other night on day one, is close the border. This appears to be a compelling campaign promise, because he's doing quite well in many of these polls.
Yeah, look, let's just go back just a few years ago. I mentioned the nearly 300 on the terrorist watch list. That was compared to 11 under President Trump. 3 pieces, Martha: remain in Mexico while you're waiting on asylum, Title 42, and President Trump got the same president of Mexico, one of the most left-wing they've ever had, AMLO, to put his National Guard, 25,000 of them, to secure Mexico's southern border. It can be done. That's why we're demanding policy changes in this supplemental, not just more money on Biden's bad policy that'll make it worse.
Well, that's an important point, because, you know, there's one side seems to want to just process more people with more money more effectively.
That's right.
And the other side wants to close the border and prevent people from coming in until there's an orderly process, because I don't think any, no matter what your politics are, you know, watching people walk through the wall is not what constitutes a border. So, Congressman, thank you very much. It's always great to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Martha.
Michael Waltz.